Hello, I'm Lori Hubbard of the Dorothy King Young chapter of the California Native Plant Society. In analyzing the impacts of this project, I've drawn on my training in landscape design, 7 years at a native plant nursery, and numerous conversations with botanists and ecologists from academia, agencies, and consulting firms. Both the Bluff Face and the Wallala Bluff Trail are valuable resources that would be negatively impacted by this project. Viable alternatives exist that would allow for opening up ocean views and expansion of the market while protecting these resources. Alternatives have not been analyzed because the phases of this project have been treated as separate projects. This is an example of piecemealing or project segmentation prohibited by the California Environmental Quality Act. They cannot be standalone projects if one would not be undertaken without the others. The applicant has withheld the main project from regulatory review while seeking permits for related activities that would be needed only in conjunction with future and not officially disclosed development. CNPS cannot respond to all anticipated activities that would impact native flora because these have not been disclosed in a formal process as required by CEQA. The Bluff Face is a valuable natural resource with remnants of rich indigenous plant communities that provide food and shelter for wildlife. It also has considerable aesthetic value, important when a community's economy depends so much on tourist dollars. In a community with very few ocean viewing spots, the Wallala Bluff Trail gives the public an opportunity to appreciate the coast's natural features. The unfairness of destroying the trail is compounded by the suggestion to turn the design of its reconstruction over to the applicant rather than the nonprofit that created it. CNPS predicts a high failure rate for revegetation efforts, no matter how well intentioned. On that precipitous slope, helicopter access would seem the only way to plant and maintain natives and control noxious weeds. Native plants could scarcely grow in a compacted, sterilized fill material. Noxious weeds already present on the site would be the only thing that would thrive. Even with the new GeoWeb design, it is not clear that native plants could be gotten to grow in those cells. And construction would tear up the existing bluff face, obliterate native flora, and activate thousands of weed seeds in the soil. We would be left with an artificial bluff 5 feet wide to 15 feet wide in some places and nearly 300 feet long, characterized by patches of bare soil and colonies of weeds. All native bluff plant communities are now rare in Mendocino County, especially the Garia scrub community on the project site. CNPS is unaware of any resolution of that issue, the rare morning glory issue, or the wetland question described in the CNPS letter. If I asked you not to pave paradise and put up a parking lot, you might claim that this bluff is no longer pristine. Yet for habitat and aesthetics, it is still far too valuable to jeopardize for an undisclosed development and a restoration scheme that is likely to fail. Thank you.
Thank you. To the clerk, time remaining from the appellant.
There's 5 minutes remaining.
You have 5 more minutes? You're complete? Yes. Yes, you do. Okay, let's move to the applicant then. 20-minute maximum. And Mr. Bauer.
I have
To the clerk, Mr. Bauer.
photo records.
Okay.
I think they're
Okay.
First off, I want to thank you very much for hearing this appeal. I've seen a lot what's going on with the other groups, many out of town, not business owners and not property owners downtown, and don't really understand the entire gamut of what's going on. But I'd like to go through the set of photos if I could. Start out with the first one. You've already seen from what Britt Bailey showed you the surf market and the other buildings alongside. If you look carefully at that, you'll see some yellow safety fencing on the west side of the Surf Market, which is where the retaining wall fell down into the estuary or near the estuary from parcel 05. You'll also see that there's a bridge under construction on the parcel directly adjacent to us that RCLC built for the trail. You'll also see that to the north, beyond our project, is Surf Motel and Seacliff. We own the Seacliff project, and it's under renovation. We've done a lot of renovation to most all our buildings downtown, and we're at a position where we've had some severe problems with drainage and uncompacted fill and need to deal with it on this particular parcel. So you'll also see Highway 1 from one end to the other of that photo. That piece of highway does not belong to Caltrans. That is prescriptive. It's been back in the Bauer family for years. I'd like to have you go to photo 2, and we can look at the yellow. I think I've yellowed some areas. Okay, you see the yellow areas. There are about 20 parking places, 14 parking places on Highway 1 and 11 parking places inside the curb that will be lost when the community action plan takes place that you all folks are working on right now, and it's just about to get some state funding, grant funding. We've lost 25 feet of our existing parking area on the parcel to the west. You'll see there are 5 cars parked out there that are RCLC's construction cars. We're forbid from using that. If you could imagine in that gravel parking lot to the west as center island, it would work if we hadn't lost the 25 feet. Sadly, that's 20 more parking places that we don't have downtown. The number one issue in Wallala, and I beg of you, is parking. And if we can't help fix it, if the community action plan can't help fix it, we're in deep trouble. I can show you some other subjects there. The views from Highway 1 are blocked except for 15 feet on the north end of what's now the video store. It used to be a gas station. And you'll see the remains of the wooden retaining wall again in the picture to the west at the south end of the parcel with a yellow fence alongside of it. You'll see the Surf Motel retaining wall adjoining the north part of the parcel that's in question here today. That's parcel 13, which is CDP 55-2006. You'll see, if you look at the vegetation, we're looking straight down at the vegetation along the fill and the original bluff. You'll see that the original bluff has fairly nice green vegetation and the existing vegetation is poor. You'll also see some traffic slabs back there between the two parcels. There's one that there's a pickup parked almost on between the Surf and the Surf Center parcel. I want to point that out later. Let's go to picture 3 if we can. That's the community action plan drawing. Take a look at how many parking places are chopped or removed or lost on Highway 1. We're looking at a potential negative loss of parking of almost 30 places. Let's go to the next picture. This happens to be a holiday when no one's in town. We don't get many of those days. That's the frontage on Highway 1 that you see. And the Surf Market's not shown, but this is parcel 13 or 55-2006, which is the subject. Let's go to photo number 5. This is a picture of a parcel built